Today I'm going to be packing for my 4-day weekend trip to Las Vegas. So I haven't packed yet, but I also thought I'd share how I like to stay organized whenever I'm going on a trip and making sure that I have everything. I try to be very realistic when it comes to planning out what to pack for my trips. So for this weekend that I'm going to be in Las Vegas, it is going to be very hot, but usually at nighttime in Las Vegas, it does get pretty cold. I was checking the weather for this weekend, and I don't think it's actually going to be too bad since it'll be in the high 60s at night. However, it does get very windy at night, so I try to stay prepared by layering. And I also try to be very realistic and practical whenever it comes to traveling. Depending on whether I'm going to be driving there or by plane, I tend to pack differently. So this time I'm going to be packing considering that I am going to be driving there. Since I am driving there, I don't have to be super strict when it comes to my skincare and hygiene products since I don't have to worry about TSA. However, I'm trying to be more considerate about the weather since it is going to be very hot. However, we are going to be indoors for most of the time other than when I am at the concert. I know for the concert we're going to have to line up at the stadium. However, I am not exactly sure how it's going to work when it comes to shade since this is the my first time going to like a major concert. So I am considering a couple of options. Let me get into how I like to organize my packing list. Usually what I like to do is I like to break down my travel list into different sections, and then I also like to keep it in my notes. Usually I just use my phone, or you can use anything else like a Word document or a Google Doc. I usually like to make sure I pack my tech first because I want to make sure that I have all the cords I need and my charging bricks, but also that I have any extra batteries in case, since we're going to be walking around a lot. I like to make sure I have an external battery with me whenever I travel, just in case. Normally, I'm pretty good about conserving my phone battery, but during the chance that my phone does run out of battery, I don't want to be in a situation where it could be difficult, especially if for some reason I'm on my own. So what I like to do is, for my external battery, I like to have a MagSafe one because my phone does have a MagSafe case, so it'll just be very easy to just stick it on and it'll start charging. Also, I like this one because it's very slim and compact and is also very lightweight, so it's just very easy for me to slip into my handbag. So it'll also be very portable, so I don't have to worry about it taking up too much space or being too heavy. To make sure it's a little bit easier for me to grab a phone charger or any cords I might need for like my iPad, I like to keep everything in a little tech case. I like this tech case because it does have a lot of space. It has 2 options. This is another battery that I have, and I like having this because it fits all my charging cords and bricks, and also when I can just put it into a bag, and if I need something tech related, I can just pull it right out. It doesn't have to be a tech case, or it could be like a Ziploc bag or any other bag, but what I really like to do is just to have a designated tech bag just so it's easier to organize while packing and just keeping it all together if I do need it to pull out. I highly recommend bringing a tech bag. It has honestly made traveling for me just so much easier and just more organized, just so I can keep everything together. So for my skincare and makeup, what I like to do is to keep them all together in one bag. Depending on if it's air travel or if it's by car, I tend to pack very differently. While I won't be flying for this trip, I just wanted to share that if you are flying, I highly recommend getting a TSA approved clear bag. I believe you can also use a Ziploc bag, but I like using these ones because it's easy to zip up. It's also very easy to clean, and I just like having it all together in one place. It also helps me condense and compact everything, so I know that I'm not overpacking when it comes to air travel. But since I am driving there, I'm going to be bringing this bag with me. So what I like about having this type of bag for my cosmetics and skincare, first of all, since it's very big, and if you have a lot of products, then it's a little bit easier to bring. But what I also like about this is that it has a lot of different sections to it. It's also clear, so you can see all your products in one place. So I like to organize it by like cosmetics, or then skincare, or skincare then cosmetics, and then also my oral hygiene products. I also like this one because it has a hook. Sometimes at hotels, they don't have a lot of counter space depending on the size of the bathroom. And if you are traveling with a group and you are sharing a room, sometimes there may not be enough counter space. So what I like to do is to have this hook and then hook it on a door or a handle so that I can save space. I also like how this one has a lot of different zippers as well, so you can also store any medications in here or like contacts, which is what I like to do. So it is very easy to compress, and since it also has a handle, it is also very easy to pull it out of your luggage. And it also has an outer pocket for anything else you might need. What I also like to bring with me, especially when I'm traveling, is a little pouch that holds all my travel essentials. Usually this includes things like hand sanitizer, and then I have chapstick as well as hand cream. And I also have some mints as well as a comb just in case I need it. I also sometimes like to bring my hand mirror because I find it a little bit easier instead of just using my phone. I find it just very handy just to have this bag on my person whenever I'm traveling, especially if I have like a backpack. It's just easier to have everything that you need in one place in a pouch that you can just pull out. I find it very easy to have both this bag and my check bag separately, because especially if I put it in a backpack, I just know right away which bag to grab for anything specific that I need that I know is within the bags. One of the things I tend to overthink whenever I'm traveling are handbags. For traveling light and to save space, I don't really recommend bringing a lot of handbags. Maybe they're small, it could work, but usually handbags can be bulky, so it takes up a lot of space. So what I like to do is to pick a handbag that can be used for a lot of different purposes, so it's very versatile. I like this one because this can be a shoulder bag using just this strap. They are also detachable for both of the different straps. It also came with this crossbody strap, so I could just easily throw it over my shoulder or take it off if I just want to use it as a handbag. I also try to bring a neutral bag so it'll match with the colors that I'm bringing for my wardrobe. For this trip, I also have another bag that I'm bringing that my friend lent to me. She lent me 2 bags I can choose from. Since this is going to be my first concert and I didn't have any clear bags, it is going to be taking up a little bit of space, but since they're very small, it won't be too bad. I highly recommend, if you can, just to bring one handbag if possible, because it does get kind of hectic if you have a lot of bags and it takes up space. But you can be saving that space for something else, like if you want to need to bring any shoes, or if you need to bring extra clothes, or you happen to get souvenirs and you want to put it in your suitcase. So this one is more of a personal choice. I tend to either bring a large purse or a large tote bag or a backpack in addition to my luggage. So I will be bringing this backpack with me. I tend to prefer bringing a backpack if I can, since this one has a lot of pockets it's very easy for me to store all of my essentials that I'm going to be having on my person, such as my tech case or my pouch. I also like to keep small bags in my backpack as well if I don't have any room in my luggage. What I like about this bag is that it has a lot of pockets, so it's very easy to store a lot of things in it, like if you need to store like a pencil or an iPad. What I like about this backpack is that this one has a little luggage bag handle strap, so if I get tired of carrying it, I can just easily put it on top of my luggage, so it's just easy to carry everything. I also tend to prefer bags that are more waterproof. I have seen some bags that are made of canvas that are very cute. However, in the past I've had some bad experiences with canvas bags where they either get ripped and it just gets very dirty easy. So just having a black backpack makes it so much easier if I need to bring it on a plane, and I can just put it under my chair if need be. So yes, so this time I will be bringing my backpack instead of my tote bag. I did bring my larger tote bag on the last time I went to Vegas, but since I'm bringing a little bit more stuff and I'm going to be there a little longer this time, I decided to bring my backpack since it'll hold more stuff for me. Oh, okay. So when it comes to shoes, I try to keep it as minimal as possible. I prefer just wearing the shoes I have on my feet for travel, but for this trip in Vegas, I am going to a place where there is a dress code, so I am going to be bringing a pair of heels, more of a dress heel. So I also like to make sure it's a comfortable heel, so I like to have a kitten heel so it can go with a lot of different outfits as well if I want to dress up a little bit more one day. I also decided to bring a black heel because it'll go with a lot of the colors in the pieces I will be bringing with me. I highly recommend when traveling that you bring a comfortable pair of sneakers since you don't want to hurt your feet while you're walking. So I like to bring a good pair of walking shoes or running shoes. So I'm going to be bringing this pair of New Balance shoes. I like this one because it's very comfortable. It also happens to be waterproof. I wore these when I was in Japan and it did rain a couple of times when I was there, and this worked so well. No water came into my shoe, so that was really nice. I tend to bring either a white sneaker or more of a neutral color like gray or beige or black. I believe like a lot of these neutral colors work really well with a lot of different colors. So I try to stick to those types of styles when it comes to sneakers. Since I will be wearing the sneakers on me while I am traveling, I don't have to worry about it taking up space in my luggage. The only thing I'll have to worry about are the heels. I just gotta make sure that they won't be too squished in my luggage. Here are some tips I also want to share when it comes to planning my pieces that I'll be bringing, as well as packing everything. So I mentioned before in the beginning of the video that I like to break things down into different sections. So when it comes to clothes, I am very specific. So what I do ahead of time is I look up how the weather will be like at the destination I'm planning on going to. So what I like to do is that I like to put the day and maybe the date, as well as the low and the high temperature for that day. And then I like to use emojis just to show what the weather conditions will be like for that day. Like if it's sunny or if it's cloudy or if there's a chance of rain or snow. I find it especially helpful to do that for any times that I had an outfit idea I had in mind when I was packing, but I decided that I wanted to maybe do something else. So when I look at the weather, I can just switch out the pieces that I was originally planning on wearing. so it'll be just easier for me to organize everything. So what I like to do first when I make my packing list is I actually come up with the shoes second, and I start off with my bottoms first. These still are not the final pieces I have decided to bring or wear. However, I'm leaning very heavily towards them, since I believe layering will be essential for this trip, since it's going to be very hot and then it'll get very cold at nighttime. So I might be wearing these linen pair of pants on the drive to Las Vegas, since it is very airy and breezy, and it keeps me cool while also protecting my legs from the sun. Sometimes I do burn pretty easy, so I like to bring options for my travel wardrobe. So I will be bringing a pair of shorts since it'll be hot, and I will also be bringing a skirt. So this is actually a skirt. It has shorts built in underneath, so I don't have to worry about anything. I decided to bring a skirt this time because, I don't know, sometimes you just want to dress up and feel cute, especially when you're with your friends, so maybe that's just me. Also, I really like that this one just has a skirt built in, so it also makes it very easy and comfortable to walk around in. I'm also bringing a pair of leggings for my return trip home because I just want it to be very comfortable, and I also just like how it's very cool. And these are my flared leggings, so I find them to be very comfortable for car rides. I also highly recommend bringing an extra pair of pants just in case, because you never know what might happen with like one of your outfits. Like someone may accidentally spill water on you, or you spill water on yourself. Just like having an extra set of clothes just in case something happens. So I'm still considering whether or not to wear these linen pants because, as you can see, it's all black, so I kind of didn't like that, so I figured maybe it'll be good just to have an option for like a colored pants, because my tops are also going to be very neutral and white. So before I move on to my tops, I wanted to share this dress that I will be bringing with me. Since I mentioned before, one of the places we're eating at has a dress code. I will be bringing this one because it's supposed to be more of a dressy casual or a business casual place. So it doesn't have to be too dressy, but I thought it'd be fun to wear a dress. And this one is sleeveless with a little bit of a ruffle detailing, and also is tiered with some lining. So I am really excited to wear this piece out. I really like this type of dress because with the collar, it still feels a little bit dressy, but it still feels very casual. And the material is very lightweight as well, especially for Vegas. So I know I won't be overheating, especially in this dress. First, the restaurant will probably have the AC blasting, but I do also love the coloring. I think this will also work well with my black heels. So for my tops, especially when I'm traveling, what I like to bring are brammies. So a brammie is usually the top, but it has built-in padding. This one doesn't have the padding in it. However, I am going to be bringing removable padding, so I can just put it in there. And also, just having the padding out whenever I need to pack it, it just saves space, so I can just keep all of the removable padding out. I usually like to bring brammies when I travel, since it's also very comfortable, especially if you have to walk around a lot. I will also be bringing another t-shirt for my extra set of clothes, but for my tops for this trip, I am gonna be wearing a lot of white. I considered bringing some of my other pieces. However, a lot of the places that I'm going to eat at they have a dress code, so you're not allowed to wear tank tops or spaghetti straps. So unfortunately, I will not be bringing a lot of them. And most of my tank tops and spaghetti straps, a lot of them are neutral. However, the ones I was considering were colored, they were pink, they were blue. So I am just going to be bringing my white tops. I have another t-shirt. And then I wanted to bring more of a cuter top as an option. So this is more of a baby doll. I just thought it'd be super cute. I also have a Brammy halter top that I will be bringing as well. So I'm also bringing a halter top. So I have an option for when it gets very hot or I don't want to wear any sleeves. So this one also doesn't have removable padding, but it has it built in, so it does make it very convenient. I also wanted to bring this shirt because it has a really cute tie detailing for a bow, so it gives it a little bit of character and personality compared to a plain t-shirt. So people may think it's very plain to have it all white. However, when it comes to traveling, I try to be very practical about it. I believe having a white top just makes it very easy to pair with any bottoms. So that's why I like to wear more of the neutral colors whenever I am packing for travel. When it comes to my sweaters, I try to keep it very minimal. I try to only bring 2 to 3. And because it's going to be very warm in Vegas, I'm only planning on bringing a cardigan and then a sweater. You may have seen this sweater before, but this is my navy polo cardigan. It works very well with a lot of my outfits, and it's also just very easy to tie around my shoulders or my waist. Plus it's also very warm, and I don't think I'm going to be wearing it as often in Vegas. However, I just like to have it as a warmer sweater option when it gets especially cold or windy. I'll also be bringing my UV cardigan, and I like this one because it's very lightweight. It's also very easy to pack, so it won't take up too much space. And also I really like the cute pink color. And since you saw a lot of my clothes are neutral with white and then black and then my one pair of blue pants and then this blue dress, I wanted to have a little bit of color to my outfits if I do wear my cardigan, especially indoors during the day. So I decided to bring my pink cardigan. Usually what I find that is that even if you have a very neutral wardrobe for your travel wardrobe, I find that having a colored cardigan or a handbag can really help bring a little bit of color to your outfit if that's what you're looking for. I am considering bringing this cardigan for that nice dinner I'm going to. However, I'm still not sure if I'm going to bring it because it would only just be for my dress, but also I can maybe consider it as a warmer option in case my pink cardigan might not be warm enough. I actually don't really bring a lot of jewelry whenever I'm packing just because I'm kind of personally scared of losing it. So, and I also really like a lot of my jewelry. So, but what I do recommend is that you have a small travel case for your jewelry. They do have a lot of them on Amazon that are just like squares. I used to have one, but it kind of broke. But what you can also do is that a lot of jewelry brands will give you a little pouch whenever you get your jewelry. So I like to save them and just put my jewelry in a pouch and just keep it all together that way, and then put it in a secure bag just so I have it all together. But this is also one way to easily travel with jewelry. You can also use small little dust bags as well. So when it comes to undergarments, I think it's a very good idea to bring more just in case you need it. So what I like to do is that depending on the days, I'll bring either 2 or 3 extra pairs of undergarments just in case, like for socks or underwear. I've always been told to just bring extra pairs of undergarments just in case, because you never know what might happen. In addition to the undergarments, I did mention that I like to bring an extra set of clothes just in case, but I usually have enough room for a pair of pants and also 1 or 2 t-shirts just in case. So I just always like to have an extra set just in case something happens. I also try to make sure the extra set of clothes are just like a simple t-shirt or pants, just so it's just very easy. I usually also only try to bring 1 to 2 pairs of pajamas, since you can rewear pajamas, especially for a short trip like this. I hope it was kind of helpful how I like to organize and plan out my pieces that I'll be bringing. I really do try to keep it as versatile as possible when it comes to packing, because I try not to bring a lot of stuff with me, because then everything gets very heavy and it's hard to carry everything, especially if you are by yourself. But yes, thanks guys for watching, and I really do hope my tips were a little bit helpful. Those were some of the tips I usually do when it comes to planning and organizing my luggage for when I travel, and I hope it was a little helpful and it can give you a little bit of inspiration on how you're going to pack for your next trip. I'm going to start packing everything now, and I'll catch you guys soon. So currently I have most of my skincare and cosmetic bag ready, except for I'm waiting until tomorrow morning to put the rest of it in. And I have my tops and my bottoms and also my sweaters ready. I am actually doing laundry right now, so I'm gonna add my pajamas in there soon. But once it's ready, I will start packing them all into my luggage.